Genesis began to form dreams about being an entertainer, and his love for music began to rise in his early years. But his rocky relationship with his mother was beginning to take a fall.
Life with my mom was like, it was real bad, man. I always had genuine love for my mom, man. I really did. I always had genuine love for her. But the thing I never could understand was why she used to be so mad with me. It's been rough for me. Like, this jerk left her, and it's been worse for me because she used to look at me as being a representation of him. And being a representation of him also represents the pain and the agony that he brought upon her when he decided not to take care of his responsibilities. So the next best thing, or the next worst thing to do, is to take it out on me. For me, being her first child, I was a representation of failure, I guess, because she had dreams just like I had dreams. She wanted to be a dancer. She was like, in her school book, she used to show me her yearbook, and I saw the picture in there where she was like most likely to be a dancer. And I actually saw her picture, and she was doing this split in dance class. And I'm like, damn, my mom's talented. You know what I mean? But all of that went down the drain, because my grandma was like, well, you got to work now. You got to take care of this kid, and you got to support him. So I guess I represented to her a loss of her freedom, failure. You know? So, I mean, obviously she didn't feel good about that. I mean, I believe the turning point in our relationship between me and my mom was one day I was at home and she was at work, and she kept the stereo in her room, you know, because she said that we used to break things up and whatnot. I mean, we were kids, you know what I'm saying? We did bad stuff like kids do, man. But I mean, not any more evil than, or any more mischievous than the next kid, you know. But she kept the stereo in the room, and being the fact that I'm a real avid music fan, I used to go in and sneak in there and listen to the music. Well, one day she came home, and she found us listening to it, and she figured it out that we were in there playing with the radio, and she was real angry about that, you know, because she told us to stay out of her room. And she came into the room, and in my sister's room, and that's where I was, and she commenced to beating on me and whatnot. And I remember she grabbed me by my throat and picked me up off of the ground, and then choke slammed me down to the floor. Alright, and to this day, I don't even remember anything but waking up. I don't remember anything but waking up. And then my sister had told me, she told me what went down. Like, to this day, my sister tells me that I went out. I was gone. You know what I'm saying? And then my mom had, realized what she was doing, and is had knocked me back to consciousness or whatever. You know what I mean? That right there was one of the things that hurt me the most about our relationship. Like, why did you have to go that far? I never understood why she went that far. You know what I'm saying? But that was the turning point. That's when I'd had enough. You know what I'm saying? And I was seeking ways to get out of that situation. You know?
Not only was his relationship with his mother on life support, but his entire family was having issues getting along. And Genesis and his two sisters were caught in the middle.
I mean, sometimes it'll just get real bad, man. We'll get together on holidays and whatnot. And in some shape, form, or fashion, it never failed, man. We'll be talking about something simple and small, an argument to get started, and then somebody will bring up the past, and the next thing you know, man, we all fighting at the dinner table or what have you. And it's a holiday. This might be Christmas or something, man, you know. And my mom will get to fight my uncles, and my uncles will get to fight my mom. My grandmother steps in, and then she's fighting everybody. And then either somebody gets upset and leaves, or somebody get kicked out, or the police end up showing up. and it was just real sad, man. Very depressing time for us, man.
As things got at home got bad, things in the street for me got worse. So, you know, and I gravitated to the street a lot more, man. So, you know, I can't say that was like the wisest decision ever in life, man. Because with gangs comes drugs, man. I was trying marijuana, I sold crack, and of course that graduates you to using guns. You know what I mean? It's the normal story, man. Everybody done told this story before, especially every rapper. So, I mean, I graduated from all of that, man, and just kept going and getting worse and worse and worse and worse.
By late 1992, Genesis was spiraling out of control and on the path to the point of no return. Then one fall morning, he received a phone call.
It was a real bad time for me, man, because I was going back and forth in between my mother's household, my grandmother's household, and I was giving everybody hell, man. I was disappointing my grandmother. Me and my mom's relationship wasn't going as good as it should have been. So I guess they figured the last resort was to get in contact with my pops and try to have him talk some sense into me and let me see how bad things would get on him, you know what I'm saying, or on me. So they got in contact with his people and they tracked him down, found out he was in the California prison system or something. So, you know, he gives me a call, collect, and he's talking to me, and, you know, like, he had no respect for me or my mom on the phone. Like, he was just real belligerent with what he was saying to me, you know what I'm saying? And at that time, man, I was already spiraling out of control. He wasn't in my life for 16 years, and plus, come on, what can you tell me? And you doing life in prison. So, you know, make a long story short, the call just didn't go as well, and it really didn't do anything for my life. I don't even like talking about it, you know. That was the first time that I've ever come in contact with him, and it was the last time that I've ever been in contact with him.
In early 1993, Genesis left his mother's home for good, joined the streets, and began heading in a destructive and lethal direction. In March of the same year, Prince Genesis committed the unthinkable and was arrested and charged for murder. He was only 16 years old.
You know, I'm not disrespectful, man, so I'm not gonna get into the logistics about the case and all that. But you know, it was a murder and 3 attempted murders. You know what I'm saying? Gang related, violent crime or what have you. And yeah, I ended up doing some time. I ended up getting arrested. I ended up doing some time. And I wish I could take it back. You know what I mean? To this day, I do wish I could take it back. I mean, we was out there wilding, man. We was out there wilding. We was everywhere, shooting, doing whatever, man. Just doing whatever we could do to make somebody's day bad. To us, we didn't really understand the value of life, because many of us didn't have a life in the first place. You know how people always saying, get a life? We couldn't. There was nothing to have outside of fighting in school, screwing, smoking, selling drugs. There was no life. That was our life. So gang banging and the violence that come with it was part of that. You know what I'm saying? It was nothing for, you know, for you to ride through the hood and you see somebody stretched out, laid out, and the ambulance be there, the police be there, and, you know, you go take a look and you see if it's anybody you know. And then if it's not, then you be like, damn, that's messed up. Psh, homie should have been caught slipping. And you move on. And you move on. You don't even think twice about it, man. So I'm sitting there with a $250,000 bond, right? I'm not going anywhere, obviously. And I got the most feared judge in the Cook County court system. His name was Earl Strayhorn. He was the chief judge. And my case was assigned to him. All right? Now, on my first day there, I saw him give a 17-year-old dude double life plus 30. We ain't talking about LA life, where it's like 25 years or something like that. We talking natural. You're never getting no hope for parole getting out. This is what he told him. And he was 17 years old. 17, double life plus 30. Plus 30, you got to die 2 times and come back and give him 30 straight. This is the judge I had with a murder and 3 attempts. So my lawyer was like, listen, I can't beat this for you. And he talked to my grandmother and them. And my grandmother had instructed him to do what's best for me as far as getting out someday. So he went to talk to the judge, talk to the prosecuting attorney, and worked out a deal to where I would only get 25 years in jail. You know what I'm saying? So he came back, he said, hey, listen, you can cop out for 25 years. You could run with 25. That's as best as I can do for you. Because if you take this to trial and we end up losing this, I'm gonna fight for you, but if we end up losing this dude's gonna give you life. Going back to the cell house, thinking about it, and a lot of the guys was like, man, run with it. I talked to a lot of jailhouse lawyers, dudes that had him. They was like, it ain't worth it. Go ahead and run with it. You know what I'm saying? Take the 25 and just do it. Do your bit. You know what I'm saying? You did the crime, do the time.
On July 25th, Andrew Grammer, also known as Prince Genesis, was sentenced to 25 years in prison for the murder of a rival gang member. His grandmother, shocked and hurt, was heartbroken yet supportive and stood by him every step of the way.
You know, I talked to my grandmother about it. She was okay with it. I talked to my mom about it. Everybody was upset. Nobody wanted me to do any time. But hey, you know, you can't escape that. That's something you can't escape. The witnesses was coming to court. The victims that didn't die were coming to the court. There was no way out of it. You know what I'm saying? So I ended up taking the 25.